always feeling good that the right people are able to come and join us. And it's our opportunity to just find out a little bit about what's going on in your world, and so that you could also experience a little bit about what's going on in our world. Um, I'm not sure how many people registered for this. Usually we get a small portion of all of those who do register. So um, that, statistics say that about 1/3 of who register show up. So here you are. And so if you would be so kind as to put in chat your name and where you're from so that people could have that. And if you are inclined to want to share your email address, you might not want to do it right on the spot, but if you find that there are people here that you want to continue talking with, you can either talk with them individually by pulling down in the everyone chat each person's name, and you can send them a direct message. So since Joanne, you're the first person on my screen, um, I'm going to just kind of turn to you, and if people could just give a little bit of update about what they're thinking about compassion, or what they'd like the Charter for Compassion maybe to do, or what's happening in your backyard with compassion, that would be great. Knowing that, like as we're going along here, new people come up and might not always hear what your message is. So again, if you would put your name in the chat and the place that you're calling from, that would be great. Okay, Joanne.
Sorry, I turned audio off while my phone was ringing. Apologies. I am Joanne Gaines. I'm one of the leadership team members with Compassionate California. I'm actually located in Southern California in the Los Angeles area. I live in Redondo Beach, but cover all of California. So if anybody else is here from California, let me know in the chat, and we connect outside of the of this Zoom. We always have a lot a lot going on. Um, in a number tabling at a number of events in different cities. We have a third year of a grant that we do for children that is very much focused on compassion and related human values. And it looks like we hopefully will be in the TK classrooms in Pomona. I think there's 60 classrooms, so we're excited to be doing that and a lot of other work in Pomona. Probably the newest thing that's coming up in the Southern California area is we're relaunching a Compassionate Pasadena initiative on Saturday, November the 8th. So if anybody is in the LA area and would like to join us, let me know that and we'll get you the information. So those are kind of the main things in the moment.
We should mention that compassion, California is our first compassionate state in the United States, and there are similar efforts afoot in several other places, Texas being one, Florida being the other. And of course, it's not something that is easily done to try and bring the Charter of Compassion to a state legislature and have them consider a resolution to say that they are a compassionate state and to outline what would make them a compassionate state. So this is like treading water, and you have to have patience and you have to have a lot of energy in order to accomplish that.
Yeah, well said. We did reach out to every assembly member and every senator, and short of people who weren't there, it was unanimous in the end.
Yeah.
So effective.
Merida, I always forget about you, which is terrible. So you're actually next on my screen, so you might as well go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Marilyn. So I'm Merida McCarthy, and I'm program coordinator at the Charter for Compassion. I think that means that a lot of the invitations and emails that you get from the charter are from me, because I'm actually kind of like that person in the back end who's setting up registration forms, so and receiving all the participants. And so anything that goes well and anything that goes wrong, both things can be related back to me. And yeah, so I have my hands and my heart and my mind in everything charter wise. So it just makes me very happy and proud to be here. And if I can do anything to help any of you, I'm always available.
Great. Thanks, Merida. Okay, Kate.
Hi there, I'm Kate Cumbo, and I'm with the Satyarthi Movement for Global Compassion. And we are led by Nobel Peace Laureate Kailash Satyarthi, who has been working for 40 years to end child slavery and labor, and is now dedicating the rest of his life to globalizing compassion. So we just did a high-level roundtable at the UN in partnership with the Monaco Mission. And we had three young people there from Peace Jam, which Bridget will talk about when she gets to her thing. I'm formerly with Peace Jam, that's why I mention it. We had the president of Armenia who was talking about the recent peace accords with Azerbaijan. We had former president of Costa Rica, Nobel Peace Laureates. It was an incredible 70 people who all came to talk about compassion, even though they aren't in the compassion movement. And it was beautiful because it started out with the president of the Interparliamentary Union, who leads all the parliamentary countries. And he put away his script and he said, I'm supposed to read from a script as my official capacity, but I need to speak from my heart. And it set the whole tone for the whole, hour and a half, where people really were talking about the importance of compassion in our judicial systems, our government systems, our education systems, our businesses. We had Brian Kelly, the points guy, there talking about compassionate business. So it was just really exciting. And we had Anam, who is your youth coordinator. And so she did a fantastic job of representing the charter and just bringing fantastic energy. So thank you.
Thank you, Kate. And we should say that Kailash was someone that we gave the Karen Armstrong Humanitarian Award to last year. And in a little while, we'll talk about the fact that we have our next round for our gala and honoring four Compassionate Humanitarian Award winners. And they're pretty outstanding individuals. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Randy. Good to see you again.
Yes, hello, Marilyn. It's been a while, and I think when I knew you in a previous lifetime, I lived in Winona, Minnesota, and was
Right.
joined in several times, and it's just thrilling to hear some of these exciting things that are happening probably in the 10 years of my absence. And I've subsequently moved to Aurora, Illinois, and I just came from
Wow.
a meeting with, and I've gotten quite involved in different men's movements, and there's such a focus on a deeper, I think, compassionate, loving way. In fact, one of the guys has a book called The Compassionate Warrior. His name is Sean Harvey, and so I just was interested to see the intersections, and I'm also quite involved in the Naperville Unitarian Church, and our theme is love and flourishing, and it seems to fit so much with your with the charter's mission, and so I just was looking forward to reconnecting today. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Glad. I do know Aurora, being an old Chicagoan, so that's great to hear that. Chris.
Hey there, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Chris Wolonsky. I'm with Peace Through Action USA. We're a nonprofit organization that inspires and equips everyday people to increase safety, belonging, and peace in their relationships and communities. We do this by anchoring people in compassion and expanding their skill set with pro-social communication skills. So something I'm really interested in is in training and instructional design as it relates to peace, and equipping people in their communities to train others or lead peer-to-peer education sessions where people can learn about peace as a skill set, and all the associated practices that people can take on in their lives, to promote healthier relationships. So I'm really excited to connect with everyone. This is I think this might be my first time here with this group. So I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know everyone and better understand everyone's work, and open to collaboration. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Chris. And Chuck, your mic is off, Chuck. There you go.
Thank you, Marilyn. Chuck Watts with Empathy Surplus Network USA. And we're a 501c3 focused on science-based communication education. And our members, we're all volunteers, and our members seek to support one another in our mission to frame and reframe a constant public discourse around empathy and compassion. And I want you to know that I'm committed to our mutual moral duty to care for one another's human rights and freedoms. We do our work through partnerships. And one of the partnerships that we're currently focused on is a partnership with Rotary. Rotary actually helped create the charter for the United Nations. Rotary's 1940 Rotary International's conference in 1940 actually passed a resolution, a human rights resolution, where they said, in part, where and I thought I had it here, yeah, where freedom, justice, truth, sanctity of the pledged word, and respect for human rights do not exist, Rotary cannot live nor its ideal prevail. And I've been a Rotarian since 1981, and most Rotarians don't know that history. And so in order to talk about compassion, at least in Rotary, you have to talk about our legacy of compassion and peace. In 1943, the Rotary Club of London hosted the all the ministers of the Allied nations who were ministers of education and helped form UNESCO. Rotary was at the time the largest business organization for human rights in the world. Currently, we're seeking, and I'll close, currently we're seeking to create help Rotarians create a Rotary action group, a human rights empathy Rotary action group. And there are three rules for effective communication. You've got to say what you want, why you want it repeatedly. And so we've got to talk about compassion with whatever it is that we want, whatever issue we want. We've got to link it to compassion all the time. And for Rotarians, that would be telling our story. So I'll close there. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you, Chuck. And Merida, if you could find our other Chuck, who's from the Rotary, who has been involved in this very same things, Chuck, that you're involved in, and maybe it'd be a good opportunity for the two of you to meet And one of the things the charter did many years ago, in fact, I think it was probably the second round of the Karen Armstrong Humanitarian Awards, was to give one of those awards to the Rotary International. So we feel real close to the work of the Rotary and are involved with a number of Rotary clubs in setting up compassionate communities on both sides of the border, US and Mexico. We've not made our way beyond these two countries, but our hope is that we'll be able to. Thank you. And David Brown.
Good morning. Thank you so much. My name is David Brown. I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm the director of possibility for the Change Lab, and we pilot projects and strategies to generate social cohesion.
Wow. So are you involved at all with Compassionate Houston?
I am. We are.
Okay, good.
I'm currently in the training.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, Bridget.
Hi all, happy to join. Marilyn, I missed your specific query. Was it just a brief introduction to what brings us to the table? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so my name is Bridget Shannon, or Bree Shannon. I'm based at Florida State University Center for Leadership and Service. I've worked with Kate and Peace Jam for many years and had the pleasure of joining y'all for the gala in Monterey, where Peace Jam and Kailash and all were recognized and honored. Have been happy to have some of our students take part in some of the Compassionate Action Conference kinds of pieces from the youth perspective, and just to be engaged in the conversation with y'all. Excited to be here.
Okay, great. And do you know about the movement in Florida with Compassionate Florida?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Yep. And Kathy.
Greetings. Excuse me. Marilyn, we've talked on the phone before. I'm in Nor'Wester Rotary up in Port Angeles, Washington.
Right.
We are putting in a peace poll sometime in the next 3 or 4 months. Again, like you, working through language issues in terms of our native peoples, our indigenous people. I'm also come to this group through Sue Cooper and her work with the Charter for Compassion, and our meditation group that has been going since basically since COVID, still in a couple of forms, most notably holistic health. And Sue Cooper has been very involved with that. And Marita, I did contribute in my own way with some comments. So I'm kind of circling in. I run a meditation group that's here in Port Angeles, and had the joy of attending a Children's International Summer Village camp when I was 11 years old. So peace has been part of my life. And so I'm just kind of circling in and seeing where I fit.
Okay, good.
And just basically got the call.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming. And James, you're an interloper, but we welcome you. James is from Côte d'Ivoire in Africa. So can you just maybe make an introduction and briefly state what you're up to?
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. And thank you everyone for having me to this hour. This is 8 p.m. from Ivory Coast. My name is James Ofu. I'm a community peace builder, a founder of a non-profit. In 2022, as a result of our post-electoral human slaughter. After our post-electoral human slaughter in 2011, I co-created this organization with my community, by denomination United for Peace Against Conflict International. Our mission is to equip young people with a communication and the leadership skills necessary to address the root causes of hatred, discrimination, and conflict violence. We create a safe space for young people to meet face to face with those they have been taught to fear. Together, they develop personal connection based on empathy, compassion, respect, and the confidence to transform divisive attitude in their community. Our vision is to a more just and inclusive world where engaged global citizens are fueled by the desire and the skills to come deeply understand different perspectives rather than to separate prejudice at their own. We achieve this vision and mission through main two areas of importance or axis. One, through community settings and academic settings. We organize campus-based trainings around peace leadership, conflict transformation, social dialogue. And also we do the same in community setting. We design space for civic engagement and also peer mediation. So this is where we operate. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, James. I'm hoping that you'll put your email address in the chat, because anyone interested in peace here, James's program is really wonderful, and he's been so kind as to actually offer some lessons and approaches through our webinars, and those are all archived and on the Charter's website. But if you want to get in touch with him and see on the ground work, that would be great. And I know he'll be helpful. One of the things I should just throw in here is that right now we're in, technically in terms of communities, compassionate communities, 56 countries, and close to almost 600 initiatives in those individual countries. But our membership is about 194 countries of the world, which makes it really exciting when, we can have, we've never had an all, call for all of our different communities together. We've pretty much been doing it by regions in the world, and even states or provinces. But it is something that, we have on the front burner. And one of the ways of doing that is last year, well, past May, we had our first Charter for Compassion virtual conference, and it was really well attended. And we will be repeating that at the end of May next year, and a great opportunity to come by and really interface with all of the people, well, not all, but people who are involved globally with the Charter for Compassion. So I'm going to call on a person who is coming from, I think, one of the Dakotas, and I think her accent is going to betray her. And look at that, she knows who she is. So Avon, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I feel very small today because everyone so far seems to be so already deeply connected in compassion work. So I feel like a very tiny person in this pond. My name is Aveen. I'm from Scotland. I live in South Dakota. I work helping people from challenging backgrounds to become stronger. So that's through education mostly, teaching people about their values and strengths, and the community resilience model. I'm a C-learning facilitator. I also teach mental health first aid, and I'm a laughter yoga professor. And I just did a conference last week talking about human resilience and laughter yoga. So I'm very small and very humble. I'm very privileged to be able to join in with this group today. So I'm just...
Well, thank you. I'm sorry that you're not doing more. but there's still hope for you.
Thank you.
I mean, don't underestimate yourself at all. You're quite busy in the work that you do. Okay, Joanne, another Joanne, spelt differently, but
Hi, everyone. I you use the word interloper, but I feel like I just am so interested and attended one of the Saturday mornings through learning about it from the pro-social world. In a course I was in with Susan Soleil and Diane Burke in the summer, and I'm retaking it now. But I'm just very open, and in light of everything unfolding, just feel like the true north and the just the vibrational call is to, through the language that I hear all of you use in your commitment of creating a more compassionate, kind world, that's something to instill these values and however we can individually, but also in whatever, all our engagements in the world. So I'm just here because of resonance and just wanting to hear more.
great. Thank you for coming. Albert,
Yeah, my own work, actually, I should say, as a bridger, my own work is I've been my second career, 26 years, actually more in the organizational leadership world, primarily working with high tech, but it's something because in the cultures, particularly the primary one I've been in for over 6 years, it's just an amazing $9 billion company and rapidly growing, that to watch how culture can be defined. Is it compassionate, caring cultures? So, it can be in any kind of context, the creation of a culture in a way for people to treat each other. So.
Great. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but thank you for.
No, I did. I thought I added that kind of as a second. Wait, what is it that I actually am doing right now?
Good.
Would be also good to add.
Great. Thank you again. Albert, I was going to say, I'm intrigued by the background that you're sitting in front of.
Yes, thank you. This is a hand-carved room divider from India, and I got it through freecycle.org, for those of you who are familiar with that. If you look it up,
Writing it down right now.
Yeah, they divert things from the landfill, and so I just put on there looking for a room divider so I can kind of shield some of my office mess and chaos. And this woman had 2 of them, and she's giving them away for free, and it's the real deal. It's just
amazing.
Feel really fortunate. So I do have virtual backgrounds, but this is so easy to put up, and I like it so much. So anyway, that's the story, Marilyn, on that hand carved. It may lift me up a little more spiritually than I may deserve, but I feel inspired using it. So just by way of introduction, so I've been involved in, my goal has long been to minimize or reduce suffering in the world for myself and others. And my first strategy in doing that is I studied architecture at Pratt Institute with the goal of designing, building, and living in intentional community. And Buckminster Fuller, for those of you who know him, was a big influence. His mission statement was to make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological offense or the disadvantage of anyone. So that pretty well sums up, I've adopted that mission, and his strategy was to determine what a penniless individual with a dependent wife and child could do that multinational corporations and governments would not do. So I've adopted these things in my life. In addition to build intentional community, I realize that it's not just about built environment. I can design a net zero generational, beautiful environment, but that's not going to create community. Community is about communication, connecting with others in a profound way, and having a certain set of skills where we can express our consciousness and compassion. And so I set my foot on studying that, became certified as a mediator, organizational consultant, and have been involved in connecting with others like yourselves. I participated in one other of these groups. By the way, Marilyn, when I read some of your writing, I find myself going, amen.
Thank you.
You know, I couldn't have said it better. And at this point in time, what interests me is I used to facilitate generative dialogue. And I am strongly convinced that if on a global scale, those of us who embrace the higher brain functions of reason, imagination, creativity, compassion, intuition, if we communicate with each other effectively, we can exercise the power that we have over what's unfolding in the world today. And so I'm interested in finding ways to do that, to connect with others who share that vision. And I have deep concerns about the power structure that exists here in the United States and the direction it's going in. And so I'm looking to have some way to act in the world that produces an immediate response. And sometimes my words fail me. What I can say is, I don't know the answer, but we do. And so I'll pause.
Okay.
I'll pause there.
I'm gonna ask. Thank you for that, and I'm gonna ask Merida if you could find our world game example, because I'll talk if we have some time. I'd like to talk about it because it was the whole notion of world game, as Albert has just let us remember, comes from Buckminster Fuller, but there is an online world game that we're piloting right now, and we have 4 pilots going, and I'd love to, anyone here who would like to join us in vetting this program, because I truly believe it's pretty extraordinary and can help organizations and can help city initiatives, where you bring small teams of people, not big teams of people, to deal with grave problems, and you can interact. And here I am talking about it, but I'd love to show it. I think we'll, if you can find it, Merida. I couldn't find it quickly because I wanted to personalize it to show you what we're trying to do with it. But the idea is that you come, you present the problem, and you have 2 avenues that you can explore. One avenue is that you can take an avatar like Buckminster Fuller, or Mother Teresa, or Nelson Mandela, and you can work with all of their writings and experience and help you solve your problems that you might have in your city or your organization. And you can also bring in AI. And so you could have an avatar, you can have AI, you can have your own team. There's recommendations from other people who might be involved with work like you're involved, that the program invites you to accept them as team members. It's really pretty extraordinary, and really involving. And the ideas that come forth are really so exciting. So maybe by the end of this conversation, I hadn't planned on talking about it because, as I said, we're still in the process of vetting it. But every minute that I have spent with it has been so worthwhile that I know that we're really going to try and promote it with our compassionate partners and organizations, and especially our community. So hopefully we'll have some links for you shortly. If not, we'll make certain in the notes from this meeting that we'll get you the links. So Barry, good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to be here. I'm from Houston, Georgia. I like to say Atlanta because it's one of the bedroom communities outside of Atlanta.
You know, which community are you in?
Houston.
Okay, Houston. You know, I just spent the last week in the area at Emory University, and I've really kind of fallen in love with that part of Georgia. Really wonderful.
Yeah, it is. And we're close enough to the mountains that we can get up there and see the fall leaves. So I'm looking forward to doing that later on. Although this year it's been kind of dry, so I don't know how colorful it'll be. I'm just, and excuse my voice, I've had some kind of cold and it hasn't gone away yet. I'm just in the process of getting in touch with Compassionate of Atlanta. And I've talked to Leah, but then somehow our communication dropped out. And I've had a couple weeks of medical things that I had to do, dental surgery, which is always fun. And so I need to get after it because they're going to do something in October in Atlanta. And I want to see if I can jump in on that and help, even though I'm clear over here in Houston. I think I'm close enough that I can get to it. And so that's my goal for this month, to contact her again.
Within the next couple of weeks, actually, it's something called Compassion Com.
Yes.
It's wonderful. They are now up to an average of 1,600 people who participate. So it's pretty exciting. So if you go to their website, you know, certainly you'll have an opportunity to figure out how you can join in.
Right. I have her email too. I thought I'd contact her personally. She was going to send me some of her love notes. I don't know if you've heard.
Oh yeah, those are pretty special.
Yeah, and I sent her my address, but she never did. So I figured she got busy. We had a conference call, and while we were talking, she must have got 2 or 3, maybe 4 interruptions. So she's a very busy lady.
Yeah. That's one of our most successful the compassionate communities in the U.S. Susan.
Hello. It's my second time. So yeah, I'm Susan LaPlay Miller. I'm north of Chicago, and my day job is in the women's health space mostly, and I do partnerships for purpose companies to help amplify messaging. I'm also very involved in the U.S. Values Alliance, World Values Day, and as several have mentioned, the way the world is right now, I'm just feeling this pull, this call to compassion. And so the last month when I came on this call, I mentioned how I'm just pulling together the month of November. I've just decided November is Compassion Month. And I'm pulling together tools, events, Marita shared the website. I've kind of started looking because of the women's health space. I've been really busy this past month, so now I've got the time to sit down. But Andy Smallman was on the call before, and he's actually going to do an event with this. So I put the website in there for anybody who's interested. It is purely, we're not competing with anybody in the world. We're just truly trying to find tools, make them easily accessible, and give them to maybe a new market of people who is not even aware. Like I wasn't aware that this group existed, and now that I am, I find it exciting to like explore, learn what other people are doing, but then give people a sense of self-agency, because the harder the world is, the more we need to say, what can I do, right? So we might not be able to solve the whole problem, but if we can do our little piece, every one of those pieces is going to make a difference. So that's really my like personal calling behind it. And I welcome any participation in whatever form you choose. But thank you for having me here.
Okay, great. Thank you. Christina. Are you with us? If so, maybe turn on your mic so we can meet you. If not, we're going to go to Deborah. Okay.
Hello, Mary Lynn and everyone. This is Deborah Boudreau from Buddha's Tzu Chi Foundation in Southern California. I have heard about the Charter for Compassion doing quite a lot of things, and also come across during the CSW and some high-level political forum events. But this is the first time I have a chance to engage and participate. For the Buddhist Tzu Chi Foundation is a faith-based organization. Many try to, especially around this kind of challenge dynamic and very comprehensive environment right now, we are promote is plant-based diet. From your own compassion and started to reach out to the community with compassion. So that is one of the key goals that we focus. The other one is circular economy, is reduce the desire. So the reason bring me into this space now is I think it's very important for us to bring more young leaders into this space. So that's the motivation for me to explore and to learn from every one of you. So thank you so much. It's a good learning so far to hear everybody's story and that everyone's efforts put into the community and this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Wendy.
Hi, everyone. I'm really honored to be here with all of you. And in life, I am a mediator and an attorney mediator, and I work mostly in relationships. You know, hearing you talk, Marilyn, I want to go back and say, I was first introduced to the Compassion Center when my daughter attended Emory University several years ago, and several times met the Dalai Lama when he was speaking there. And it, you know, it just changes the life to hear the Dalai Lama. And in my subsequent to that, I had the unique experience of taking a 1.5-year-long coaching class with Marianne Williamson, and based on the principles of A Course in Miracles. And I use that in my work and try to get people to go from, you can have a grievance or you can have a miracle, and you can have fear or you can have love. And I think it's what we're talking about. And you know, I want to expand that, and I do it on a micro level. And just to bring in a name, because my other interest is primates, as odd as that sounds, but I was watching Jane Goodall's talk, Famous Last Words, that just got released on Netflix. And, you know, she just talks about what the vision was, and it started with non-human primate relationship, and it turns into this conservation effort and became an activist for humanity. And her focus in the end was, you need to rely on the young people. And even when I was in Africa working in sanctuaries, you need to teach the children, because in teaching the children, that'll change the world. And I think maybe going into schools and doing that kind of stuff is, you know, I'm at a stage in my life where I'm kind of like the mentor stage now. And so using all those teachings and going out. Anyway, I'm honored to be with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, it's so interesting to think about all the connection points between all of you and actually between the charter. Ironically, on Friday, we have a meeting with Roots and Shoots. And so, you know, we're sorry that for the passing of Jane Goodall, and hope that that meeting is still going to happen. And, you know, as we talk about some of the other names, Marianne Williams has been really important to the charter. And in fact, she was one of our keynote speakers at a gala, a live gala that we had a few years ago. And what I'd like to do right now is to share some of the things that are available to you from the charter, and hope that, you know, they resonate, and that you go to the homepage of our website, which is kind of our roadmap. We have so many pages on that website, and you could get lost and we'll never find you again. But if you start out on that homepage, it'll lead you to what you need to know. And so a lot of what you're going to experience here, hopefully, in the short run, is, you know, some of the key things that we'll be doing over the next couple of months. And let's hope that here we go. So that we put these little PowerPoints together to help emphasize and keep our own journey kind of secure. The first thing is that Eckhart Tolle and Kim Eng have given to us a course that they have designed called Embodied Presence. It's free. It's self-directed. You can, again, go to the homepage, click on under courses, and you'll see Embodied Presence. The course is primarily for young people, but certainly I had the honor of putting it up online. And so I went through the course, and it's really quite a unique course. A lot of short videos, a lot of questions and answers with him and with Eckhart and with Kim. But, you know, do take advantage of it. As I said, self-directed, free, ready to share. The other thing that we do is that each month, and sometimes even twice a month, we try to not do that so much because it is a little difficult, but we have a global read. And it's an opportunity for people to come and see what people are writing, but if they also know the writer, then, and have read the book, then they could come and interact with that particular writer. This is a Potawatomi woman from the United States who has written this book called Everything is a Story. And so that's on October 15th. And again, you don't have to have read the book as much as really to, you know, to hear, because first part is a journey of the author talking a little about the book, and then we have a facilitator who interacts, and then we open it up for questions and answers. This is we've made reference. I made reference being in Georgia and spending a week at Emory University because of two things. One is something that Emory at the Center for Contemplative Studies and Ethnic Studies has done is a launch of specific programs. One is CBCT, the Cognitive-Based Compassion Training, which the charter has vetted successfully over the last couple of years, and C-Learning, which is a learning program for young people from first grade or even before, now it's kindergarten, all the way up through high school. And that program is one that we hope to really promote through our compassionate communities. And CBCT, our board, most of our board members have taken CBCT along with our staff as part of the vetting process. And so the board is really working hard to get scholarship money so that we can build cadres of people around the world in our various hubs who experience this neuroscience-based compassion training. And so we have 4 sessions that are being offered. They're 10 weeks, almost each one of them, I think, is 10 weeks. And the first one is starting next Wednesday, and then the following weeks. Three of the courses are in English, one is in Spanish, and please go to the website if you're interested. It's a minimal cost of $125, but the part that we're committed to do for the charter through our board is that if after taking the course you think that you want to learn more and you want to be a trainer of the CBCT part, and we are thinking about how we will do the same thing for C-learning for the classroom. But if you're interested and you take the initial course and you think, geez, I want to continue, I'm not going to pull your leg here. It is tough in terms of time commitment and reading and writing and reflecting. So you have your initial 10 weeks, you have a retreat that's like about 36 hours of time that you would devote. Then you have, if you keep moving on, you have another 10-week course, and then you have a practicum that you have to do, and then you serve a couple years before you can even qualify for certification for the program. So initially it's a commitment, but and I think that Wendy said that just being with the material, being at Emory at the center, it could really change your life. And I think that there's so much proof. It has been around now for 15 years. There's a lot of research behind it. And so we'd like you to, really, if you're interested, to really consider even the base introductory course is there for the offering. We've talked a lot about youth and really the necessity of bringing youth into the dialogue and into what we're doing. And this is our second global youth conference. It's going to be 3 days in length. It's online, it's virtual. We'll have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, I hope, of youth from around the world. Last year we had close to 500. And we're hoping that that's a small number compared to what we'll be able to generate for this year. But the good thing is it's on a platform that's available beyond the 3 days that it's offered. And we have found that people take advantage of that opportunity to come back and listen. For the most part, I would say that 90% of all of the workshops, presentations, keynotes are going to be from people who are under the age of 35. And the other thing that's important, I think, for you to hear about the Charter for Compassion is 1.5 years ago, the Charter Board decided that 25% of the board would be people under the age of 35. We're almost 40% under 35 right now. We've achieved that number. And the interaction, I think, the intergenerational dialogue that we have and the approaches that we're taking, I think are really been transformed because of that decision. So 28th to 30th. Here's a big one. This is extremely big. The Charter for Compassion was the idea of Karen Armstrong, a British historian and theologian. I don't know if she would like to be called a theologian, but nonetheless, it was her idea. And the TED conference at the time, they were starting TED Talks, and they gave her the first monetary award and a wish. And she wished for them to help her create a Charter for Compassion. And that was granted in 2008, 2009. The original Charter for Compassion was launched at the United Nations and the Washington Press Club. And so it's been around, and it was November 12th. And so this year, November 12th, 2025, we will launch and unveil the new Charter for Compassion 2.0. The original one stays put. It's a historical document. This one addresses with a little different language, a little more oomph behind it, The movement from compassionate transformation, from inner healing to planetary flourishing. It's a free offering. We want everyone to begin to experience this new charter, to use it. We've also created probably a 70-page action booklet to help look to how is it that you can move this new charter for compassion forward. So please register, and we'll put up how you can obtain the action booklet that you can use in conversation, dialogue, in gatherings of people, in book clubs, whatever it might be. In fact, it would be a great book club read. And then November 15th, this is really a monumental day for us. It is our 8th annual gathering to celebrate extraordinary people who are doing extraordinary things. Just as we said last year, we gave awards to Peace Jam and 2 organizations and Seeds for Peace, but we also gave awards to Rigoberta Menchú, one of the Nobel Peace Laureates, just as Kailash Satyarthi is a peace recipient. And so they all gathered together. We were in Monterrey, Mexico, for that celebration. So it was person to person, which was lovely. This time, this is virtual. And we have 4 awards that we're giving out. And I could keep it a secret, but you could go to the website and see exactly who these people are. And over the next month or so, we'll be highlighting them in our newsletter. And then, we certainly refer to, to what's going on in not only the United States, but globally. And so we have been working for a couple months now, and we'll continue to work until this happens. We're going to have a 2-day conference, again, virtual conference, on United for Democracy and Global Action, realizing that democracy is just not something that's given, and that it just happens, but by accident, but we really have to work to achieve that. So those are some of the highlights of what we're working on. And this has brought us right up to a minute or so before we're at the end of what's going on. So as I said, please, consider joining us for all of those events, most of which are free. However, I have to admit that the November 15th gala is one where it's our major fundraiser for the year. And actually, a lot of the money we hope to raise will be for scholarships for people to be able to take the CBCT training, and also hopefully the C-learning. So scholarship money that will come in, but will also go out for the facilitators and to Emory for actually monitoring and helping us to achieve our goal of getting all of these people trained in the Charter for Compassion. We're also working on a couple other surprises. We hope there'll be surprises in terms of other offerings. And probably more than likely we'll be announcing those come January time. So are there any questions, even though we have, and if you have to go, totally understand, because we're up at the end of the hour, but if you want to stay and have a question, we'll stay and answer it. But for those who have to go, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Marilyn.
much. Teed up a whole email of all the resources and have BCCs out to my whole network.
Okay, good. Yeah, do everything you can to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, inspiring. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, Marilyn, is that CBT course? I'm losing my acronym letters. So
yeah, it's CBCT, Cognitive-Based Compassion Training.
See why I need that. Anyway, is that in person or is that virtual?
It's virtual. The 4 courses that we're offering are virtual. The idea behind this, Barry, is that we find trainers globally who are go through the process, and then they're able to actually do it right in their own backyard, and so that it can be face to face. But we know that initially now it's going to have to be virtual offerings as we move forward to train people.
And if you just wanted to take the basic course, that's okay.
It is absolutely okay and very desirable to do that.
Yes, I
Really,
thought,
it's a wonderful course. It really is.
yes, yes. Thank you.
And Compassionate Atlanta, both the co-directors, Leanne and Iable, are taking the class right now, and I'm fairly certain we'll be working with them to try and offer it in your area.
Okay. Does it, it starts in October, right?
Well, that's our first offering. We'll have 4 classes this month, and they'll actually go until December, all 4 classes. But
There's
we'll,
space in my class if you want to on Friday mornings.
yeah,
Harry,
yeah,
Okay.
I'd really enjoy you being.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll start again in January. We'll be offering.
So Meridia, your class starts on this Friday,
No, 24th.
24th?
Yeah, and it's only 8 weeks, 2 hours a day.
Okay,
It's
great.
rather early in the morning for those on the Pacific time, but I think it's okay for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
What's the Eastern time on it? Do you know?
It's
So
probably
it's
probably
6
9
a.m.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay, good.
9 for you, Barry.
That'll get me out of bed. Okay.
7 a.m. for me gets me out of bed.
I thank you.
I have a question. How does the that training, cognitive-based compassion training, compare to something like nonviolent communication or a language of life?
Much different. It's pretty much based on neuroscience as well as meditation. And so what it does is it really helps you to understand. I don't have an elevator speech yet, but let's say that you have what Elaine Karas Miller, who's contributed greatly to CBCT, calls the zone of resilience. And so, like if we're in this zone, then we kind of, we have our ups and downs, but sometimes we're triggered and we go above or below. So deep depression or high anger. And it helps you with understanding what that is all about and how you can control those ups and downs and when they come. And it gives you tools to help you understand how to stay within your zone of resilience. And so it's not one that, certainly, being nonviolent is an off product of this, but it doesn't do what maybe other trainings might do.
Is there a video or some sampling of the work in progress and process?
I would suggest so you go to the Emory website. Definitely. I mean, we have things on our website that actually every session is outlined, so you can see what you would encounter in that session. There are YouTube's videos where Lapsang Negi, who is he's the director of the center, where he talks about CBCT. So there are certainly videos, but I don't think any of those videos are on the.
Let's put the link into the chat for Emory University.
Yeah.
That gives you a very good outline of what the course is all about. But also, Albert, I have the feeling you've taken a few compassion courses or have dabbled around that, because your introduction explained practically what we teach and study.
Thank you for that, and thank you both. I'm just sitting here. I don't know what this time is for, but I could share with you what's coming up, and my imagination always works faster than reality. I mean, I'm going world peace. No problem. Talk to each other, engage our intelligence, our creativity. But I've used this process for years because I've designed many things and I have taken vague ideas, turned them into concrete reality as a contractor. And I find the higher the diversity, engagement. But I also find that if people have skills
Mhm.
to build an intentional community, it's my anecdotal belief that you need to have at least 15 to 20% of the people highly skilled, conscious and highly skilled. Everyone else can learn. Or you can try to train everybody, but not everybody's going to sit still for it. So I keep trying to find that sweet spot for change. And with things in the world the way they are today, I feel, I don't want to say compulsion, but I feel a need to act quickly to engage the intelligence in this world and through dialogue, I am 100% convinced, and Marilyn, I'm going to take a deeper look at I did go to the World Game site before. I will take a deeper look at it.
Yeah.
Because having a platform where we can all communicate and engage in scenarios is so helpful. And as I look at these trainings and I go, my God, to put these trainings together, to take the training, the time, it just leaves me with a little bit of hopelessness in the moment. Do we have to train everybody, or is there a way to engage where we are now?
I think that what you have to do is you always have to work from the bottom up and from the top down. When you start talking about the bottom up, I think in terms of this kind of look at deep level understanding is sea learning. I honestly do. I think that the Dalai Lama, this is his legacy. He has sponsored all of this research. He has sponsored the design and paid for this. I mean, literally paid for it from his, from the foundation's pocket. And I think that Merida is closer to sea learning than I am. But I was at the launch of sea learning in 2019 in India. And
Can you translate? I'm not familiar with that term, sea learning.
Social emotional learning.
Okay.
Social, ethical learning.
And ethical learning, yeah. And you start working with young kids who are 5 and 6 years old, and you bring them through that whole process for 12 years or so. That's revolutionary. And as you say, you get gobsmacked when you think about the craziness in the world. And all you can do, as Dalai Lama says, you work with the health of the people. There's like 1% that you're never going to reach, and it's probably much more than that. But that's what I heard him say.
And CBCT was created to kind of contain and help the teachers that were implementing sea learning in the school. So it's kind of like the perfect match, but it also, they decided that it's also really good for the parents. And then they decided this is actually has to get out to the whole community. So now we're all invited to take CBCT, at least the introduction that we're offering. And if you're willing and would like to continue and become a facilitator, then that is also something that's open.
It's been so embraced by the medical community, CBCT. And not only at Emory, but when I took CBCT, I would say probably 50% of the class, and my class was 100 and some people online, but I would say at least 50% of them were medical doctors, nurses, and providers. So it's really embraced by that community. And now there's a real movement in the ethical part of CBCT for the business community, but it has not really been exposed that much to the business community yet. So educators so far, health workers, and they now are moving towards for business. So yes, it's it's a rough going. It's not something that's going to, as the Dalai Lama said, it's not going to be in his lifetime, and it's not going to be in the lifetime of people who he's training. That it's a 100. I don't know where he comes up with this stuff, but it's a 150-year to 300-year journey.
Don't they say that it takes 3 point, now no King's people are using these terms, but it takes 3.5% of the people before you can make a turn on something?
That's Malcolm Gladstone. I'm glad they picked him up. That, I certainly that is about an average. If you can affect 3% of a population, whether it's in your neighborhood, your state, or your country, that's the tipping point where change can really happen.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Are those folks going through the that training? They seem like they would be prime candidates to engage in what I would call generative dialogue, true dialogue, where they have enough self-regulation, consciousness to be able to understand when they're making assumptions, beliefs, judgments. And in that process, my experience is when people are conscious in that way in dialogue, you can really distill truth in a very powerful way and reach transpersonal states of consciousness. So my question is that part of the program or unfolding? And if it is, I would love to participate with those folks at that level. For me, it's just a glorious experience.
And that's what happened this last week at Emory. I mean, there were probably just a little over 100 of us, but from Mongolia to Taiwan to Brazil to Mexico, Iceland. I mean, it was an incredible gathering of people, all of whom have devoted a few years, if not more, to either C-learning or CBCT. And it was really very, very interesting to work with so many like-minded people. And when you come out of a gathering like that and you're smacked with reality, it's like, oh my gosh. But it is a wonderful experience. And this is happening. It's my second big gathering like this. And if we could have more and more of this, and that's why, we're taking this quite seriously of trying to build these cadres of people, so that, we, like, for example, the course I'm teaching is later on, and in clockwise. And so specifically, almost everyone in the class is from Australia. And so this is our big opportunity because we have one of our first compassionate countries is Australia. Twice the parliament has said, yes, we are a compassionate continent. But, now we want to make certain that we keep moving forward in that direction.
Well, I always find it inspiring to be with others who share values, and for all of you who are here and participating, it's an encouragement. I just want it to go faster. I don't have that much time. I'd like to at least have some signs. Well, anyhow, I could go on, but thank you for all of you.
Well, if you would like to join us, you're more than welcome. I'm sure that you would enjoy the course, and you'll enrich it. Anyone on this call actually will be enriching our sessions, because that is what it's of all of us together that create the movement. So
yeah, definitely.
One of the things
oh, go ahead. Sorry, Barry. I was just saying I was contemplating taking it, and I had put it on my calendar. There's one week I cannot attend. Is like, how do you make up the course?
It's okay. You can miss 1 week.
Okay.
Just one.
And I think it's yours on Friday that I was contemplating. So
that's good. Yeah.
So,
one of the things that I've found is various ministers have moved on from different churches I belong to, and I found that they plant seeds and they never see the growth of those seeds, but the people that stay there see the growth of those seeds. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like everything in life, you know.
No, especially when you work with
see-
children.
Pardon?
It especially happens when you work with children.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you know that you're planting a seed, but you know you probably won't see them in 10 years' time to see what you planted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it happens.
It requires a great deal of faith. I know in my spiritual practice, when I meditate and meditate deeply, I've been told by enlightened beings that's what we can do. We can all do that. And I guess I'm still, either my faith is not strong enough, but there's a part of me that wants to do something now or
that's
immediate.
not
I
to
don't
do.
often have the words to
Mm.
articulate what I'm saying, but yeah,
It's a first step. It's a first
patience and
step,
faith.
and then there's much more we can be doing. But becoming a facilitator of this is also one of the things we can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's enriched my life very much. So, and at least I know that way I'm doing something,
Yeah.
purposeful.
I found when I
Absolutely.
became an AVP for alternatives to violence facilitator, that I, as a facilitator, learned more about myself than I ever would have
Oh, definitely.
participating.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I look forward to see any more questions.
I'm going to have to go, but I thank you all, Marilyn and Meridia. I thank you. And yes, I'll be looking into your class, Meridia.
Great.
Great.
More than
You all have a
welcome.
great week, what's left of it, and take care.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.